I've got the looks and the charm of an old movie star. Cary Grant, if you will, so I find it bizarre that this girl should refuse to step into my car. She must be shy, she'll come around, it's just a matter of time. Aurora, Aurora.
Hey there, Screen Fiends, and welcome to Screen Snark, a podcast that celebrates all of the shows that are in our eyes, on our minds, and in our hearts. I am Rachel Quirky Shank.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
Yes, and I am a new mom.
You are a new mom.
I'm going to say it every time. Not like to a human creature. That's terrifying.
No, absolutely not.
As a concept. But I am the proud parent of a beautiful cat named Champion, and
that's amazing.
I am in love. And so if you hear squeaking or meowing, don't worry, it's just my cat.
It's not Rachel meowing.
Decided that now's the time to play. But I don't mind. I can't be mad at him.
No, you can't.
He tore open a bag of bread last week and ate a slice, and I can't be mad at him.
Can't.
It's physically impossible.
Ooh.
Just like, you get it.
Does this make
you
me
get it, my sweet little
Does this make me Champion's new cat uncle? Like, can I be his cat uncle?
Yes.
Crazy
Yes.
Uncle Matt?
Hi, yes. Crazy Uncle. Listen, there are too many crazies in my life for you to take that.
That's fair.
That's that moniker. You're just Uncle Matt,
fair.
because everybody in my life is crazy.
That's true.
You kidding me? You're Uncle Matt.
Excellent.
You're a cat uncle.
Yay.
Congratulations. Also, Champion loves you already because he loves all people.
I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm allergic to him, but I'm glad he loves me.
Yeah, he loves you very much.
Sure.
From a distance.
From a distance.
Yeah,
we went to the same place.
My cat loves
Literally.
Uncle Matt.
If anyone...
He won't get his hair on you.
So, further proof that
From a distance.
Rachel and I have the same mind, except that Rachel will always take a joke way further. Like, I did the opening line, and then you went off. And that's the perfect explanation of our friendship in a nutshell, I think. But
I think so. Like, Matt will let a good thing die, and I will make it live forever.
But
because I know someone who's listening to this started singing From a Distance in their head.
Of course.
And I just wanted to be there to honor that for them.
you're a good person.
That's all. And also because I wanted to sing From a Distance from the perspective of my cat.
Of course.
So fuck it.
But this is not a podcast about cats or Marvel movies. It is a podcast about having lovely guests.
Who even said Marvel movies? Jeez. The cross synergy of all of my bullshit, I can't.
If I can't call out your... It's been a while since I've called out the Infinity Pod, so I feel like it was necessary. Anyway, this is a podcast about sharing our media experiences with a guest, and our guest this week is the incredible and delightful Jacob McCourt. Jacob, thank you for joining us.
Hi, I was joining in my head. You know how you said there's one person that is singing along with me? I was there with you. Bette Midler was right here between my eyes. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
I feel
you.
validated.
Yeah.
I will continue all of my bullshit forever.
Like you were going to stop it anyway.
Unashamed, unabashed bullshit.
But Jacob, we're really
Welcome
excited.
to the show.
We're excited to have you on.
Jacob, thank you.
I was a recent, it feels like forever ago because time has no meaning. But
What is time?
I was fairly recently a guest of the Left Behind Games Club podcast, which you host along with Mike and Mo, and I did The Last of Us with you guys, and that was a lot of fun. Except for Mo because he sucks and didn't show up. No, it's actually because Mo doesn't have the game, so he couldn't play it. Which was a ton of fun.
I was wondering, like, you always like to throw shade at podcast members who don't show up to particular recordings you're a part of.
I do.
Who was it who wasn't on Let's Rewatch and you're so mad at me?
Oh no, it was Brett.
Or was it Brett?
It was Brett. On my first episode ever.
You were
I threw so much shade.
mad.
That's just how I roll.
Don't, like, you gotta show up for Matt, because he won't forget. He's like the elephant of podcast guests. He never fucking forgets.
Well, if I could have I gave Mike my PlayStation 3 because I hoard things in the video game space. So I gave a PlayStation 3 out. If I had another PlayStation 3, I would have given it to Mo so he was there. Next time he'll have to be there.
He has to.
Yeah.
It's just a rule. We'll have to play a game he has. But that said, Jacob also does a ton of awesome stuff, like a brand new YouTube channel that he just launched recently. Again, he's a podcaster. I will get into more of the history of how Jacob and I met in the post-discussion part of the pod. But first, as always, we're going to talk about the most recent things we watched. And I've been watching a lot more stuff lately. I know in previous weeks, Rachel, I've talked about how like I'm kind of either focused on my community rewatch, which is still going on. I'm in season 3, or like rewatching old stuff. But I watched a few new things over the last few weeks. But I want to have an honorable mention only in response to your loving podcast that I mentioned earlier, the Infinity Pod. In case either of the gents listen, I am that person, the one person you were talking about who still watches Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I watched I watched the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premiere, and I still like the show. It's okay. I've really fallen in love with the characters. It's why I stick with it. But I don't want to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. here, just because it's the final season. There's lots of spoilers, and like there's really no way to talk about the newest episode without spoiling it. So I just wanted to mention that I do still like the show, and I ask that if folks are curious to go back and give it another shot. I feel like the exact thing you brought up on the Infinity Pod about how it's almost its own, it is its own show now. It's so barely connected to the MCU. I think that's a better way to watch it than watching it being like, when does this connect? Why is it not connecting? I think taking it as its own thing actually does it a service. So yeah, that's
what's a pitch for someone who's not. So I've never watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Are they like 5 seasons in now?
Yeah. Yes, I believe this final season is either 5th or 6th.
So I've watched all the MCU movies. Like, I'm not a huge Marvel fan, but like, how do you pitch this to someone who has never engaged with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. before?
I mean, so it's the kind of show, if you're a fan of Buffy or any of the other kind of Whedon-style shows with a monster of the week.
Ragtag, lovable misfits, fighting the good fight.
Like, that's really the pitch of the show.
Deal.
You know, with cameos from, like, Sif has a cameo in one season from Thor, and Samuel L. Jackson's been on a bunch as Nick Fury.
Do the Howling Commandos show up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or is that in Agent Carter?
No,
I forget.
Agent Carter,
I just really
which
love
is
that.
also great.
I love the Howling Commandos.
Me too.
So I want to see more of it. Give them a show.
But honestly, the reason I'm excited for the current season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Is because, for whatever reason, they time travel, and so it's connecting with Agent Carter, which got canceled before it should have. So that's really exciting. But I'd say if you like ensemble casts and like monsters of the week that have bigger plots and charismatic actors, that's a reason to watch it. Because, I mean, Clark Gregg is phenomenal, no matter what ridiculous shit they ask him to do. And also, in later seasons, the Ghost Rider appears, and it's the best version of the Ghost Rider ever created, in my opinion.
Wow.
Amazing.
It's he's played by Gabriel Luna, which one of the Ghost Riders in the canon was Hispanic. And so, like, it's a really cool part of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. story. But anyway, so yeah, that's my quick pitch on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But
yeah, maybe when it's all done, I'll jump on it.
But
again.
that's,
I watched the first season; it was fun.
Yeah, like you can't go into it expecting art. You have to expect like fun nonsense.
Would that be a Disney Plus thing, or would that be tied somewhere else? Sorry, there's so many streaming services now.
So
and
right now it's on.
Where would you even get that?
So right now it's on Hulu, and the previous seasons are on Netflix still. I imagine once it's done, it'll move to Disney Plus, since it did air on ABC. Yeah. But I'm not positive about that. But the old seasons are on Netflix. But that is not what I've brought.
But that's not what you watched.
That's not what I watched. God, we can't keep doing that.
I love this new thing
this
that
new,
we
like,
do.
honorable mentions.
Our honorable mention, like we're not gonna review this, but here's like my quick review of this.
I mean,
that's happening.
I think it's a fun way for
whatever.
It's a fun way for us to talk about the stuff that like we're binging that we haven't finished, or like things that are still ongoing that we don't want to spoil. But
this is in progress. Would you like to come back and hear Matt's full takes on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when it's done?
Yes. Which I will have.
Like and subscribe and ring that bell.
In fact,
whatever the fuck.
I'll pitch it offline, but I feel like I'd be a great guest to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on your podcast where no one knows anything about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Just saying.
We don't have guests.
I know.
Sorry.
Anyway.
And if we do, we're saving them. We're saving them for like
Big things.
the gets.
No, I know.
Because I don't know. I don't know if you know that Scott knows a lot of people.
Yes,
like,
no.
Holy shit.
Oh my God, yes.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
when we pop that cork, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be fucking crazy. Anyway, this is not about my other stupid show that I do. I'm sick of this. What did you really watch, Matt? I'm dying.
I love that I'm joyously
Save me
calling
from my-
it out, and you're just like, stop
Save
this.
Save me from my own stupid brand. I hate it.
Your brand's amazing. Stop.
My brand is fine.
But the most recent thing I did watch was actually a comedy special. Patton Oswalt's new comedy special, I Love Everything, which was on Netflix. It was really good. My spouse had wanted to watch it. We're both fans.
Is it the special that he did after he tragically lost his spouse?
So yes, it's actually this takes place shortly after he remarried, and so
Okay.
And so it still feels like it was filmed a long time ago, but yeah. So it's really funny. He's really great. He's one of the highlights of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Actually, he plays a recurring character on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he's really great. And literally got the role because he's a Marvel nerd, and like I appreciate that. But it was very funny. It's called I Love Everything. And what he did that was brilliant also, although I haven't watched the second episode, is it's a 2-episode comedy special. And the second episode is his opener, and a friend of his who he really likes, who's a relative unknown, gave him his own comedy special attached to his, which is fucking awesome. Of course, I cannot remember that comedian's name as I've not watched it yet, but I still think that's really cool.
Yeah.
But it was great. He, it's a lot of him talking about getting older because he's 50 now and like aging, and like I won't attempt to recreate the jokes as I am not a comedian. But if you're a fan of Patton Oswalt, and
Patton Oswalt, so old.
How old is he?
He's so old. He did a comedy special where he talked about it.
My favorite thing that I related to the most is he does have a bit about how when you're a kid, all of your cereal boxes had like mazes on them and activities, and they were colorful. And then as an adult, they have like a sun on them and like these large blurbs about the organic orchard it came from. And like that hit me where it hurts, as I have a terrible everything, and so I eat boring cereals.
I gotta pause this real quick. The orchard that your cereal came from, my beautiful cereal orchard.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we grow all the best breakfast cereals. This beautiful orchard, full of grains and wheats and various shapes of crunchy.
I mean,
what a beautiful orchard! I love it.
He
I
told
will
it
now
way better.
believe that
cereal comes from orchards. It hangs on
orchards
trees.
grow in orchards.
I thought you were just going to talk about
grab a
how
box.
large the text is and how specifically fiber is called out on the box, because
That too.
you got to have your fiber when you're getting older, right? Sorry to get in.
Yeah, bold, like bold print, fiber.
But
Gotta love those fiber.
in an attempt to
from the best orchard.
in an attempt to reclaim any hope of intelligence or sanity on the podcast, he refers to the farm that the ingredients come from, and like these organic places, and like how it's all these long stories, long boring stories about how they've been getting their wheat from this place forever, and blah blah blah. But yeah, it's a really funny special, especially if you're a fan of his work. He does also talk about a lot of the social movements, and like calls out a very specific comedian that he used to be friends with who forced people to watch him jerk off. Like literally doesn't name names, but tells jokes tearing him down. And I was like,
oh,
thank you.
Yeah, so
And
so essentially what his victims did through their comedy for years and years, like didn't actually say,
Wow.
I like that.
I mean,
Fuck that guy.
and it was clear obviously that he was like painting a target, and I appreciate that, since a lot of comedians were still friends with Louis C.K. for a long time after everything went down, and it turned out he was a total douchebag. So it's nice to know that at least Patton is not tolerating that shit anymore. But yeah, it was a fun special, very funny, I thought. I think, though, if you're a young fan of Patton Oswalt, there might be less for you just because it's less about nerding out and more about being a parent, getting remarried, being in love, getting old. You know, the stuff we all like, but like, you know, might go over the heads of the younger comedy fans.
Yeah, I love getting old. It's so funny.
Who doesn't?
Boy, it's hilarious.
So
yeah, but
funny.
I recently watched Ali Wong's second special, and like so good. And
Yeah.
she talks about how her life's changed after she has a child. And not to go too far down this sidebar, but like 3 years ago, I wouldn't have understood that because although I have no children, my friends are all having children, and they're miserable right now. But they have these bundles of joy, so it was nice to understand that, you know, a few years before that, I wouldn't have had no idea about any, and I probably wouldn't have laughed. So I understand where you're coming from with Patton.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like I've never been of the children are for me camp, not ever. But I think it's really relatable comedy. Like I remember watching one of Wanda Sykes' specials, and like this whole like bit she had is like, all my friends talk about these kids that they have, and they always say exactly this: they're a lot of work, but they're worth it. And it's like one of those like a little asterisk on that of like they're a lot of work, but I love them, I guess. They're yeah, and it's great. Like I think it's
Speaking of parenting, squeak, squeak, squeak.
speaking of parenting, speak of the little devil and he'll appear. Yeah, so it's, you know, I think that, and also I think parenting is relatable to anybody, even if they aren't parents themselves, because like you have parents.
You had parents.
Like,
Had or have.
You had or have, or you know, like you have some experience with guardianship, and for me, seeing a joke about parentage and like what that's like I'm the kid. I was the one who was a lot of work, but was worth it.
Exactly.
I guess.
I don't
know.
I'd say so.
Ask my mom.
I did.
Ask my dad.
I believe
I
did.
Am I worth it? Oh boy. But yeah, so I love that.
Yeah.
And also, good comedy can transcend its barriers, because like a good comedian knows the audience and can reach them no matter what. I feel like Hannah Gadsby does a really good job in her upcoming special Douglas, which I got to see live, like literally lays out like how to do good comedy.
Yeah.
You know, like what you're supposed to do, like the literal mechanics of it, and it's brilliant. And I think if Patton is as good a comedian as I know he is, like I think he'll reach the audience he wants to.
For sure. And what's interesting about Patton Oswalt is like he is someone who I've always watched in shows and thought was very funny, like on TV and in movies. But like I never watched, I think this is the first comedy special of his I've watched from beginning to end, but I thought it was very funny and I really enjoyed it. And it's easy to forget, like if you see certain comedians on TV all the time, that like they can also do very good stand-up. Also, some don't do very good stand-up, but like a lot of them do. I mean, I think that my top tier comedian at the moment will forever be, unless he does something god-awful, which I can't imagine, is John Mulaney.
John Mulaney.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to
Just
say John Mulaney.
Just because, as someone who's always felt older than the body he's in, to watch him walk around the stage kvetching like an old Jewish man, even though he himself is not Jewish, his spouse is, like, that fills me with so much joy. I didn't love the Sack Lunch Bunch, but I think it's because I went into it expecting a comedy special, and it's not. It's something beyond that, and so I have to rewatch it.
The Sack Lunch Bunch is brilliant because it's just John Mulaney doing the Electric Company.
Right.
And I can't believe that it's
that's
real.
such a good pitch.
It's really good.
I can't believe that it is like John Mulaney doing John Mulaney humor, but for kids. Like there's an entire musical number about a child that only wants to eat noodles with butter, and I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I can't, cause like I was that kid. I loved playing noodles with butter.
Oh my
It's
God, so was I.
good.
Same.
Are you kidding? And that was there's an entire song dedicated to this. And I won't spoil any of the amazing guest appearances, but like there's one song and the guest is like one of my like art pop icons, and I'm just like, how did John Mulaney convince this character to be in this. I can't. How did this happen? It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
And like the testimonials of people talking about what they're scared of. You got like Natasha Lyonne, and then the kids of the Sack Lunch Bunch talking about what they're afraid of. Like it's it's literally an episode of like Sesame Street or The Electric Company, but for adults, for kids.
Yeah.
I can't. It's
Like-
brilliant. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think I went into it expecting something else, and so I bounced off it. I think I need to go back to it and just rewatch it, knowing what it is, and I'm sure I'll love it. But that said, I think it was also hard because his previous straight up comedy specials floored me to the point of being unable to breathe. That like this is so different from that, because you may not laugh out loud constantly, but that's not what it's for. It's for a lot of different other things. So, but
yeah, it's the musical comedy
Yes.
where you're like, I'm not laughing because like I'm engaged musically with what's going on, like because I want to hear like the next lyric, and so you're like not laughing out loud. You're not like guffawing everywhere, but you're like, that's really funny. Like
for sure.
The entire bit where like they have these tubes and like they're spinning around the boy singing about how much he loves plain noodles. It's like, this is buck wild.
It's amazing.
I watched my first special of his like right before the pandemic happened, and it was the special where it ends on the Bill Clinton bit that's very funny. I don't remember the name of it, but I'm gonna have to watch this because my friend literally sat me down and said, you have to watch this. This is one of the greatest comedy specials I've ever watched. And I'm going to sit here and make sure you watch it and don't do anything else while you watch it. Like, it's one of those where you have to, like, focus on it solely. And I'm excited to watch this. So thank you for that recommendation. Adding that to the watch list right after this.
Huzzah. Yeah, it's not long, and it's so fun. It's so fun and weird. I love it. It's like somebody made something for me.
Bringing it back to I love that.
We were talking about Patton Oswalt.
Correct.
Jeez, where are we?
My favorite thing about the structure of I Love Everything is that it starts with a section of his final bit about Denny's and then cuts to him coming out on stage. So it's going to come back to that. It's completely out of context. I think the line is, Denny's is not the funny part of this joke, or something like that. And then he cuts to the start of the show, and it does come back around. And what's beautiful about this special is I forgot about it. I was so engaged in his special that I was just going along for the ride, listening to the stories. And then when it got back to that, I went, oh yeah, that thing. And he wraps it around, and it's great. If you are looking for a good comedy special, definitely watch this.
You literally have to watch Douglas when it finally comes to Netflix, because you just like describe like the way you like that. I think you will really dig on Gadsby's Douglas. Like, holy shit. I don't know how they're gonna edit it, but when I saw it, I was like, I can't. Like she did that thing.
Awesome.
She just set something up, and then like you forgot about it because like we've taken so many turns, and then all of a sudden it's back, and you're like, oh right, you mentioned this. I've been taken for a ride, and I love it. I love comedy that can do that.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm going to take you on this ride, and then you're going to forget that I'm taking you on this ride. Then I'm going to remind you that you're on the fucking ride.
Yep.
And then you're like, you got me.
Yeah,
For sure. Do you have any? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just to build on that, like my favorite comedy specials growing up were like Eddie Izzard's Dressed to Kill, and like
so
Dana
good.
Carvey's first comedy special with Chop and Broccoli, like ones that have recurring bits that keep coming back. And then also like kind of go way off base, and like Patton fit right into those. I wasn't laughing the whole time, but once he got me, that was it. I was done. I was destroyed for the rest of it. So
very good. I am converted. You've taken me to the pulpit on this comedy special, and I will definitely watch it because I do love Patton Oswalt.
excellent.
Do you have any other thoughts about this comedy special, or shall I ask you the question that we always ask?
No, I think that if you have a Netflix, it's definitely worth watching. Go check it out. And don't be like me, watch both episodes and give that other comedian whose name I can't remember some love as well.
Yeah, and then go listen to their comedy album if they have one on Spotify.
Exactly.
I don't know. Support your local comics.
Yes.
I mean, not the shitty ones.
No.
You know,
Never the
you know
shitty
what I mean.
ones.
The good ones.
Only the good ones.
Not the shitty ones.
But they'll
Only
keep
the good
working,
ones.
and then maybe they'll get their own special someday.
Maybe.
Wishful thinking. I don't know.
Fingers crossed. So, Matt, if you had to describe I Love Everything, the Patton Oswalt comedy special, without using I Love Everything as your descriptor, how would you describe this beautiful comedy special?
It's funny, doing this for comedy specials, I feel is harder than movies.
It's very difficult.
Because movies, you can just pull out like adjectives that describe even moments in the movie or scenes. But like, I don't want to spoil any of the jokes, so I don't want to mention specific things he mentions.
Well, how did it make you feel in 3 words?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'm here to help. I'm not just a big dumb dummy who just wants to do jokes all the time.
No one calling.
I have a beating heart.
No one here has called you a dummy, but you.
I'm multi-dimensional.
Um.
My Bim Bam fans are loving it. Some of my Taz fans.
Laugh. Life. Satisfying. There we go.
Satisfying. I was like, if this motherfucker says
No,
love,
never.
I'm gonna call him out.
I was thinking about it though.
It's the Eat, Pray, Love
Exactly,
comedy special.
Absolutely not.
Jeez. Unbelievable.
So yeah, I threw a curveball there. You know.
I like it. Very
I do
good.
what I can. I wanted another L word, but when I realized the only other L word was love, I was like, well, F that. I'm not doing that. I know better
Yeah,
than that.
don't you dare. There's no room for love on this podcast.
Absolutely not.
No. Absolutely not.
Well, now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to Rachel. Rachel, what is the most recent thing you've watched that you've decided to chat with us about?
I'm gonna do this real short. I would like to give an honorable mention to Pan's Labyrinth, which is a movie that I started but I did not finish. I'm about like 2/3 of the way through. But I had to watch a different movie for a podcast appearance that I was on.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched all of They Live, but I don't want to talk about that because I just talked about that for like literally an hour, like 20 minutes ago. I'm good. You want to hear my thoughts? I'll drop that whole thing. 'Cause we got into that movie. It's a very great movie. But since I'm trying to do a thing where, like, if I didn't finish it, I don't get to talk about it.
Right.
And if I've already talked about it somewhere else, I probably shouldn't talk about it here. I have to go back a little bit to earlier this weekend, where I watched, for the first time, Porco Rosso.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
The Miyazaki film about a fighter pilot who's magically a pig and a bounty hunter, and oh boy, is this a good one. I love it. I don't know what it is about me right now, but I'm watching a lot of movies that deal with, like, hiding from or fighting with or dealing with fascists. Because, like, I got Pan's Labyrinth. That's very, like, the stepdad's a fascist.
Yep.
Then you got They Live, which is, like, very much, like, John Carpenter, like, sticking it to capitalism, you know, and, like, this weird, like, extraterrestrial, like, fascist regime that's, like, eating us and consuming us while we sleep in whatever way that is. And then you've got this, and, like, Porco Rosso is, like, this bounty hunter who's on the run from Italian fascists. So there you go. I'm doing, like, a fascist thing, I guess. I'm just trying to like, you know, scratch that itch, that big old scab that just, like, exists now that I'm like, oh, I gotta get at it. But I will say, like, the fascism is not a major point of Porco Rosso.
Mm-hmm.
I won't spoil it too much, but it's pretty much just like this guy got turned into a pig. Don't know how, don't know why, but he's a really good pilot, and he's a bounty hunter, and he fights with sky pirates, and he meets this young engineer girl, and he doesn't believe in her prowess as an airplane engineer, but he comes to respect and love her in a great way. in a very familial way, not like they're in
Right.
love kind of deal, like very much like teacher pupil, like agape love, because he's got a love interest in this bar owner, for sure, who's like crazy about him. I love this movie. It I will say, of the Miyazaki films that I've seen, some of them definitely like slow burn their whole way through.
Sure.
Like I would say Mononoke definitely like slow burns its whole way through. I wouldn't say that Spirited Away slow burns, but it's kind of this like a fantastical thing happens and then it's kind of mundane about the fantastical thing. Like they just work in a bathhouse. But this one I think kind of takes a while to really hit its stride. It reminds me of the Netflix movie The Willoughbys, where I feel like it's taken so long to sort of like establish what it is doing, like what its whole thing is, that I wasn't sure I was gonna love this one. But once it finally like got to the point where like he meets the young engineer and now we're going and now it's happening, I was like, I'm in with this movie now, because they just kind of spent a lot of time with just him doing sky pilot stuff in a way that I was like, okay, but like the engineer, like I would love to meet like his foil.
Right.
Like it took a long time to get there, but when it does, it's great. And then she's just darling. Like she's so optimistic and so smart and so sweet and earnest. Like I love it. Like there's a moment where she like turns on like her optimism button like all the way up to 11, and no one's heart is unmoved by her words and by her actions. It's I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. If you've already gone through like some of the like more classic canon of Miyazaki, like if you've watched Ponyo or Howl's Moving Castle, and you just kind of want to see like what else Miyazaki can do, I highly recommend Porco Rosso.
So I'm incredibly ashamed to admit that I've never watched a Ghibli, like a Studio Ghibli film, like never.
Wow,
Zero.
really?
I have, and I've thought, and with the 30th year anniversary, I think that is coming coming up. I thought like, why don't I start to go through these?
Yeah.
Is this where I start, or do I start with the classics, with the Howl's Moving Castle, with the Princess Mononoke, with the Spirited Away?
So, like, I mean, they're
this
all,
is a good question.
Yeah, they're all disconnected stories. Like, the style is the same, the music is similar, but like,
yeah, it's just like Disney. Like,
yeah,
they're
it's
all
like
very
if you
different
ask-
standalone stories with very similar aesthetics.
yeah, if you ask someone like, what's the first Disney movie I should watch? Like, that's the kind of question you're asking a little
Fair.
bit. But
Yeah.
I think, Rachel, a great way to answer this is maybe each of us give our favorite, and like and then let Jacob kind of like pick.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or do
we
you
can do that.
or do you
And
have like a definitive answer?
I was just gonna say, I think what you should do is you should gravitate toward the one that speaks the most to you, because
Okay. That's a
you will
good
find
idea.
something in it, because you have such a wide range of story options. You know,
Yeah.
you have something that is like kind of violent and set in sort of like feudal Japan in Mononoke, that's sort of like a discussion of the balance between humanity and nature. And then you've got Spirited Away, which is a kind of weirdly a story about like the spirit realm and kind of working class, you know. And then you've got something like Ponyo, which is Miyazaki's retelling of The Little Mermaid.
Pretty much.
So they're all kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
And it really kind of depends on where you want to go. But I will say, if you are completely untouched by Miyazaki, Howl's Moving Castle is based on a Western novel.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it might be one that's like the most approachable entry point, because it is a Western story told with this like Eastern filmmaker's lens, which I think is really great.
Yeah.
But Kiki's Delivery Service is the best one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hands down. It's the best. It's the best It's the best. Like, everybody loves Spirited Away. It's a masterpiece, yes, obviously. But Kiki's Delivery Service is my number one pick.
Yeah.
Beyond all measure. Because it feels good. It looks good. It is good. Everything about that movie is just so warm.
Yeah.
And loving. And it's about witches. And I'm also a witch. So there's that. And my cat looks like the cat from that movie. But I loved that movie before I loved my cat. So there's that. But yeah, there's so many.
I will say definitively which movie you should not start with. The one movie you should definitely not start with is Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh, Grave of the Fireflies. Don't touch that one. Don't touch it.
Not.
It's so sad.
So it's a very
don't.
important movie, but it is extremely sad, extremely brutal. So I think that's something to get to later because it is worth watching.
Because that one's about orphans in Japan during like World War II.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad. It's the movie that Miyazaki like really wanted to make. Like he needed to make this movie. Like he needed to get this vision out, and he had to make. I think it released alongside Ponyo.
It might
maybe
have.
no. As sort of like this weird double feature where it was like, here's this really light, fluffy thing. I'll have to look it up.
I think it's Totoro. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right now, and I'm like,
yeah.
And Totoro is the exact opposite.
And Totoro is so sweet. Yeah. I love Totoro too.
I mean,
Totoro's
all of Miyazaki's movies are good. There's not a bad one amongst the lot.
Yeah, they're incredibly. They're comforting, but they're not simple.
Yeah.
You know, like, I love to say that I like watching stuff that's, like, fluffy and comforting. But this is, like, comforting in the way that, like, a parent hugging you when you are having a hard time.
Yeah.
Like, comforting.
Kind of like a
feels.
Pixar movie comforts you.
Yeah.
Does it have that same
like,
adult themes that you can pull out later? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. And
yeah.
For me, like, I have a least favorite, which is Nausicaa. Not because there's anything wrong with it. It's just not one that I like that much. But that said,
I haven't watched Nausicaa yet.
My favorite, just to throw it out there, is Princess Mononoke. Mostly because it's the first one I ever saw. I watched it with a bunch of friends, and it resonated. But I will agree with Rachel that it's not the best, because the standard for the best, I don't think, follows necessarily what a good movie is. It can, but I think it's more than that. But
it's what connects most with you, right?
Yeah. And I think also...
I would...
Go ahead, Rachel.
I was going to say, I think if you are someone who classifies themselves as a cinephile, Spirited Away is a good one to start with, because it's kind of like considered through many sources to be Miyazaki's magnum opus. But again, like they're all so wildly divergent from one another. It's kind of amazing that one guy has like sort of cooked up all of these worlds. Like you've got like preteen witch doing a delivery service while trying to like master her art as a witch, and everyone like loves witches and they're like cool with them, whatever. It's like Bavarian and like strange. I love it. Like so like based in like that like 50s aesthetic, and then you've got something like Mononoke, very feudal, you know. Then you've got Spirited Away, based in sort of like a 90s 80s like flavor, but like thrown into sort of like that feudal feeling when our hero is sucked into like the spirit world. They're just all over the place. Like,
and I think
they're just nuts.
I think it's important to say.
I love them.
I think it's important to say also, the weird things that happen are never really treated as weird. For the most part, there are some shock moments, but for the most part, if strange things happen, they're accepted as this is the way the world is. So there's not a lot of shunning the other and that kind of stuff either, which is great.
Nobody is ever mad that Porco Rosso has like a pig head. They're just like, that's this guy. He got turned into a pig. Will he turn back? We don't know. How did it happen? We don't know. What matters is he's gonna fly in a dogfight against an American, and that's all that really matters here, and it's great.
I appreciate you guys going through that, because just as a final point, I watch anime, and these films, for some reason, are like in a blind spot for me. And Akira, I've never seen Akira, so I appreciate you guys going through those for me. Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
Of course. And also it's important to recognize that like these movies until literally very recently have been hard to come by. Like if you wanted them, you had to fully commit to buying the DVD, you know, like
they weren't available for streaming anywhere. Really,
they've been so long out of streaming, which I completely supported Ghibli and Miyazaki's choice on that. Like I completely get it. Like I understand like really wanting the engagement of this to be purposeful and meaningful and important. So I totally understand the blind spot because they were hard like to come by. Like you had to yo ho if you wanted to watch them on
I'm
your
always referring to it that way
good.
from now on. That's how I'm referring to that all the time now is yo ho.
Yo ho.
Well, Rachel, before we wrap up on Porco Rosso, I have 2 questions for you actually. Changing it up.
Okay, cool. Good. Oh man.
Question 1 is, since we're both pretty big Studio Ghibli fans, I'm curious how this ranks. You don't have to give it like a number order, but like, is it high on your Miyazaki list or on the lower side? Like, did you really love it? Or did it fall in the middle? But like, where did this fall along the pantheon for you of what you've seen?
I will say I have yet to, and I'm still working my way through the Miyazaki pantheon. Again, the accessibility of these movies are difficult. I would say this one is currently on the lower end of my Miyazaki films, but I'm also like looking at it through having watched Spirited Away and Kiki's Delivery Service and My Neighbor Totoro and like the really big ones. So when I say it's still kind of at the bottom, that's not a bad bottom to be at.
The worst movie of this collection is still a good movie.
Yeah, like it's still a really the one that resonated with me the least is probably this one.
Okay.
I feel like maybe some of it is because I watch dubs. I'm sorry, like
no, that's...
fight me nerds.
No fighting.
I like the musicality of hearing things in my own language, like because I'm such a like a musical like connector. Like I really empathize with like the music of things, and I can't get the music of a language that I don't speak. You know, and that's on me, and that's my failing. You know, like I could learn languages, but I can't. That sounds hard. Just to watch anime, that sounds crazy. But I think that there's some direction that was needed to bring out the life and the flavor of this piece, and I think I might revisit it as the subtitled version and see if I can get more, because I feel like Michael Keaton isn't giving me enough with his Porco Rosso.
Sure.
Like I feel like it was a little lacking on that. I think like Carrie Elwes is fucking crushing it though.
I mean, he crushes it in everything.
Just this over the top American with like maybe a Texas accent that isn't quite landing, and I'm not mad about it. Susan Egan doing a beautiful work, but like Susan Egan's voice is now officially rose quartz for me forever, so I can never like be mad at her for anything for the rest of my life. Unless she does something really egregious, like in her real person life, but I don't think that's happening. So this is on the lower end for me, but that's not a bad place to be because I think Miyazaki films are wonderful, and I think this one is full of life and full of love and really tender moments, you know, like you'd expect from a Miyazaki film, which I can't spoil. So,
awesome.
It's an A plus, but all of them are getting A pluses. So.
I mostly that was mostly a question for me because I have yet to see Porco Rosso as well. I'm familiar with it, but I haven't watched it through, and so that said,
I would maybe recommend watching the sub on this one because like Michael Keaton is. I can't believe Michael Keaton isn't
Well,
capturing my imagination.
The problem with the
in
early
this.
Miyazaki movies is later on, once they started getting theatrical releases in the States, they like the caliber of performance of the English voice actors went up. Like that's why Howl's Moving Castle is often a first recommend or Kiki's Delivery Service, because they have all-star casts that are delivering on a way that the older movies didn't. But that said,
Yeah.
I think that anywhere you choose to start, Jacob, you'll enjoy it. But we can delay no longer, Rachel. If
No,
you
we
had to
can't.
sum up Porco Rosso in just 3 words without using the title of the film as any of those words, how would you sum up this movie in 3 words?
Pig learns love.
Nice. Exactly. You took the word I didn't use and applied it to yours. I like it. Teamwork.
Well, I'm allowed to because love wasn't in the title of my shit.
That's true. That's true.
I broke no rules.
You broke no rules, and I appreciate you for it. Excellent.
Dog fights fun. That's
Dog
another
fights
one.
fun?
Dog fights fun.
Nice.
Dog fights fun. The dog fights are very fun in this.
Awesome.
Oh, I have another one, but I won't.
No.
I won't because like I just remembered a thing that happens in like the very beginning of Porco Rosso, and like if you don't watch all of Porco Rosso, please just watch like the cold open with the first dog fight he does with the Sky Pirates, because there's such a weird element to it, and I need you to watch it so we can talk about it.
I will.
Because it's like literally one of the most fucking weird things this ever happened, and I love it, and I just want to turn one moment of it into a GIF because I think it perfectly describes the present
Oh no.
in like the craziest
Okay.
way. So please,
I will.
they're on HBO Max. Go nuts.
I will.
Go watch all the Miyazaki.
I mean,
but please check in with me.
What is HBO Max? But I won't even go there, I guess.
Yeah, HBO Max is this weird thing that has stuff that I want, but isn't available to me in the normal channels. And I feel like I'm freebasing HBO Max to watch Miyazaki because I have to go through all these weird backwards channels to get to it.
We don't even fully have HBO Max in Canada, but I won't even go there because that's a
Alright.
whole nother topic.
That is true. Well, Jacob, we now...
May I suggest a VPN?
Oh, VPN. That's true. You
What?
could use a VPN.
Yeah.
What'd she say?
What?
Arr!
Arr.
Hey, a VPN isn't piracy.
Right, you're
That's
totally
true.
right.
That's true. That is legal. But anyway, Jacob, we now turn to you. So,
A VPN is just announcing that hello, fellow United States person. 'Tis I,
another
I'm
United
here.
States person.
Yankee Doodle Daniel.
Give me the content, please.
content, please. I'm American.
Alrighty, Jacob, what have you brought today to chat about? What is the most recent thing you have watched on TV or film?
Yeah, so I really struggled with what to bring because I've been watching a whole bunch of things kind of in parallel, which is not like me at all. I tend to like start a thing, finish a thing, and then watch the next thing. And I feel like that's like, not to throw my partner under the bus at all, but like she is a person that like will start a thing and then get halfway through it and then go like, I don't know if I like that. Let's stop. And I go, well, I need to see how it ends. Even if it's bad, I just need to see it. So like we watched the first 6 episodes of Mythic Quest, which I think you've talked about on a past episode, at least maybe a little bit. I'm doing a Westworld watch for the first time and I'm
Nice.
halfway through season 3. I just started Cowboy Bebop, which again, first time I've ever seen it. It was on sale on
Favorite.
Apple. What's it called now? Apple TV
Apple
Plus.
Apple Plus. Yeah.
Apple Plus, and I got that for like $5, so I'm watching that.
Nice.
And I was gonna talk about a French soap opera because I'm in Canada, and there's this I don't want to call it a soap, but it's like Quebec's version of One Tree Hill.
Okay, are we gonna talk about Camp Pining Hearts? Because I'm ready.
No,
that's not a
what-
real thing. But I'm really I'm fucking pumped now because it sounds like you're about to start talking about Camp Pining Hearts, which is
No.
a fake Canadian soap opera that's on Steven Universe, and I die. I'm ready. Go for it.
I
Hit
was
me with
going
this.
to.
I'm so excited.
I was going to, but then I opened up Netflix and I watched Molly's Game last night. And so Molly's Game's the thing that I want to bring to this. Le Chalet will have to wait until another piece of content.
We'll have to have you
but-
back.
I'll tell you back.
But
we'll have to watch this one.
Oh,
because
man.
now that I know that there's a Canadian One Tree Hill, it's all I want.
It's a ski hill, and it's in Quebec. There's what's called Cégep, and it's like between high school and university. So the kids are like 18 to 20, so like they can actually get into some real trouble. And the dialogue is very snappy because it was written like for French, and I won't go there. Molly's Game is the thing that I'm bringing. It's a Sorkin ass movie. Say what you will about Aaron Sorkin. I think, I've seen some of his stuff. Does he write female characters as well as he writes male characters? The answer is no. Even in a movie that is literally about a woman and what she did, the men around her seem to get, I think, better dialogue, but I'm going to try and be positive about this and say, I really liked it. I've seen The Social Network. I've seen The Newsroom, which was the show that he did on HBO for a couple years. I appreciate with Sorkin and the stuff that he does is he writes dialogue really well and develops characters really well. I mean, male characters really well. And there's like a speed to dialogue, and like there's a richness to dialogue that you don't necessarily see in a lot of other places. I think of some of the sequences in like Social Network that I really liked. There's a lot of that here. Idris Elba is kind of so if Molly Bloom is played by Jessica Chastain, and she's wonderful in the movie. She's kind of surrounded by good men and then like crappy men. Her lawyer is Idris Elba. Idris Elba could literally do anything, and I would watch it and adore it. He should be the next James Bond.
Yes.
Like, let's just give him that role, and he can just go, because the man can do anything he wants. He can do a show about being a DJ on Netflix that I guess not a lot of people watched. He can do, a detective series on the BBC that everyone will love. Sorry,
He can be an evil singing cat who takes off a coat, and we're all like, why is Idris Elba naked now?
He was in Cats. Was his butthole there? No, they took it out.
He can also be...
They took out the buttholes.
He can also be the companion to the sequel of Ghost Rider with Nick Cage running around in like a giant stone mausoleum for no reason. Like, he can do anything.
Yeah.
He can do anything. And another actor that surprised me. So in film... when I see Michael Cera, like I always think of him kind of as one character.
Sure.
As kind of the Juno, the Scott Pilgrim, but it was really nice to see him be an asshole in this movie. He played like Celebrity X, which this movie's based on a book by Molly Bloom. I didn't really explain what it is. It's a poker movie where Molly Bloom, played by Jessica Chastain, essentially holds these very high stakes poker games for Wall Street, for celebrities, and it tells the story of how she got into a lot of trouble, and then kind of as well how she gets out of trouble with the law, with her lawyer Idris Elba. It's almost a 2.5 hour movie, but it moves really quickly because of the dialogue. Do I love it? It was good, but I don't know about you guys, but when about y'all, but like when I think about movies that have like really shitty dads that end up playing into the end, it always gets knocked down for me when like a really shitty dad has a redemption arc that I don't find is earned.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner plays her dad, and it's based on a real story, so I can't be like, oh man, I hated this story. It's based on a true thing. But Kevin Costner's her father, and he gets like a redemption arc in the end, and like helps her realize her true potential, which she's the smartest character in the entire movie, yet it takes her father to kind of make her realize that she can do whatever she wants. It's interesting. I think it's a good watch. Sorkin does dialogue and character development like few others, despite some of the things that he said about female actors and female script writers. This movie's definitely came out like 3 years ago, and I've been meaning to watch it for a while and did for the show, and I'm happy that I did.
Yeah, I will say when it comes to, I've sort of come to a new, a new philosophy about this. When it comes to engaging with works by individuals that we don't necessarily love. Like, I used to have sort of this idea of, like, after they die, I'll re-engage with their stuff. And now I have a new idea, and it is akin to my yo-ho concept, where watch the stuff that they make that's good, and like take it.
Yeah.
Like learn from them and do it better
Yeah.
than they do. Like watch, you know, trigger warning for this actor who is in The Usual Suspects and other things, but like take a note from like what Kevin Spacey is doing as an actor and steal his shit.
Yep.
Just steal it.
Yep.
Just take his thing and do it better than he does. And show that motherfucker that anybody can do what he's doing. He's not fucking special.
Yep.
Yeah, when I saw Knives Out and I saw Daniel Craig do that actor, I was like, I guess he did it. He did the thing. We're good.
Yeah.
We don't need him
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Oh, Knives Out. Oh, such a good movie.
Yeah.
So good.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So like engage with what you think you can learn from shitty entities. Like I think there's something, and I think it's just because like there's so much shitty history and like philosophy and theory on things. Like boy oh boy, we could go nuts about like problematic moments in theory that like is valid.
Yeah.
Like I think there's valid things to find in portrayals, in creations by like, you know, troublesome or problematic entities, and like we should learn from them, and we should like fucking take their things, just take them and do them better.
Yeah.
Just do them better. Like Aaron Sorkin, you're a piece of shit sometimes, and we're gonna take what you're doing and we're gonna do it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
We're
you
gonna
go.
take, because that's the best retribution. Take what they've done, do it better than them, and be like, hey, I did this better than you, and I'm a better person than you are.
What I'm
Yeah.
hearing here
there-
is Rachel's gonna watch all of Aaron.
Seize the memes.
Rachel's gonna watch all of Aaron Sorkin
Seize 'em!
and then write her own single camera drama that we're all gonna be in, and it's gonna be way better.
Oh no, I can't. I can't write for shit. Are you kidding me? If anything, if I'm gonna write anything, I'm stealing Mammoth.
That's fair.
Like that's who I'm stealing.
All
I
that
can't write anything other than Mammoth because I don't know how to not write curse words all the time.
all I know is now I want to watch more like gambling movies.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
a bunch.
Because I think about 21. Yeah, we're going back to that
yeah, I
actor.
know, 21.
21.
Yeah, I'm sorry I brought him up.
I almost watched a movie that he was in the other night in the shipping news from like the early 2000s, or the shipping news,
Yeah.
because it's like based in Canada, and I was like, I'm gonna watch more Canada movies, but I digress. I think I'm gonna watch Rounders soon because I haven't
Rounders
seen
is
it, and
good.
it's another poker movie. But those are my thoughts on Molly's Game. It's a good movie. I just I wish that there were female characters that were richer in Sorkin's projects, and maybe we'll see it in the future. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, if you want to watch other like gambling or like weird like betting sports stuff, Pool Hall Junkies is a great movie with Christopher Walken and I believe Ben Affleck, and it's either, or maybe Matt Damon. I can't remember. I get them confused. all white boys look the same. But anyway.
Yeah. The only gambling thing I can think of is an anime that is called Kake Gururi. I can't pronounce it, but it's about an entire like high school where they have a hierarchy specifically based on gambling.
Nice.
And it's like it. I know I talked about Kill la Kill recently on this show. I started watching this one before I watched Kill la Kill, but it's got like sort of the same like Kill la Kill aesthetics, where like this new entity shows up at a school where like the class president has set up like this buck wild like social system for the students, and this one's gambling, and the person that comes in who's like the main character of Kill la Kill, except instead of like wanting to fight everybody and wearing a weird suit, she wants to gamble all the time, and she gets off on the thrills of gambling. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, orgasms happen because there's the
Nice.
threat of like somebody cutting off limbs. Like, it's crazy. This one's crazy, and I love it, and it's bad, and it's very bad, but there's gambling in it.
This all
But
sounds
then
like
the
your
gambling
brand.
gets so like this gambling gets so nuts though, because like it's no longer like we're gonna play poker and you're gonna lose $2 million or you have to go on a life plan that we've designed for you for political gain. It's like nuts. And then all of a sudden it's like now there's pop idols. I don't know. Japan. It's great.
Amazing. Wow, that just
that's all. Just don't watch that one as research for gambling. I just couldn't not mention it.
It's fair.
Because I wanted to be part of the conversation, and I have to just admit that I'm a messed up human.
And we all are in our own way. Well, Jacob, unless you have any other additional thoughts, we'll shift into your final review, your 3-word review of Molly's Game. It cannot use the word Molly or game. How would you sum up this Aaron Sorkin movie that you sort of liked in 3 words?
Okay. It might be cheating, but I'm gonna say Sorkin's Poker Talk.
Okay.
I don't hate it. I think that's
acceptable.
Completely accurate and valid.
Just like you, Jacob. Accurate and valid.
Hey.
But that's a nice thing to say, accurate, that someone's accurate and valid. Isn't it?
That's like saying, you're all right. Like,
I didn't take it that way, so we're all good.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, good. Because I worried. I was like, you're accurate and valid. What? Just I'm sorry. I'm a trash Leo over
It's
here,
fine.
and I just think like you're doing a good job, and I'm like, I'm not doing a great job.
It's true.
How dare you?
It's true.
Say nice things about me,
afraid-
please.
Feed me pizza and tell me I'm pretty.
So Jacob, I'm really excited to have you on the show. Jacob and I met.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
and hanging out with us.
And dealing with our nonsense.
I'm accurate and valid.
You are accurate and valid. I'm never gonna live that one down.
I think you're extraordinary and Canadian.
There you go. Also
Thank you.
So Jacob and I met through the internet through a now retired podcast, which is very sad, called Games Gone, hosted by Matt and Larry. Matt or Mike? Was it Mike? I can't remember. My Matter of M on Twitter. He's going to kill me if he listens to this. But anyway, 2 brothers who were doing a gaming podcast that the 2 of us both liked, and through their Twitter and interactions, Jacob's podcast followed me and I followed back, and then he followed me, and we became friends that way. And so while we salute Games Gone, which is gone, I would like to talk. That was kind of a pun, sort of. I used the same word.
Hey. Games gone.
Gone.
Girl.
Jacob, as I mentioned earlier, has an incredible podcast called Left Behind Games Club, which I've been a guest on. I would love, Jacob, for you to talk a little bit about what the podcast is about and maybe a little bit about how the podcast came to be.
Yeah,
Pitch
so we are the Left Behind Game Club, and it's Larry and Michael. I didn't want to, because I'm accurate and valid.
You are.
Our podcast, sorry, I keep bringing it up. Our podcast is Left Behind Game Club. We are a book club podcast, but for video games. We've been going now we hit our 3rd year anniversary this month.
Awesome.
And essentially myself, Michael, and Mo, the 3 of us were like friends from our undergrads. And for a while, just like kind of lost touch. And then I think about 4 years ago, we came together at an event and we just started talking and realized that we all really love games. We kind of knew it, but didn't really know it. And then said like, hey, it'd be a really good idea if we just like start doing this in front of microphones and then put something out. We not to kind of slam other formats, but like we found that in the gaming space, and I think one of your past guests, Nathan Brandt, said something very similar where he's like, in the game space, there's a lot of like, hey, let's talk about the news. Hey, let's talk about the games that we're playing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a really oversaturated market. So we thought that it'd be great to do a show about games that are a little older, because sometimes you don't have the money for a brand new game, or you don't want to play it right away, and you play a game a year, 2 years, 5 years later. And it's great to have a conversation that about that game in the present that can also like recontextualize the game if things have changed. I know that you, Matt, you do a Mass Effect podcast, which is kind of the same idea where you focus on one series. That's what we wanted to do, is just like focus on a format that was different and that could pull people in to talk about the same games at the same time.
That's awesome. I love that. And like I only know of one other podcast that does that, and I listen to both podcasts because you guys tend to focus on both AAA and indie. This other podcast, the Dinosaur Machines Game Club podcast, they tend to focus mostly on just indie stuff. And also, there hasn't been a lot of crossover between the games you've covered because this may come as a shock to people. There are a lot of fucking video games. So
there's so many.
So many.
Look at my Steam library. I have so many and I haven't touched any of them.
And so like
holy shit.
And so like it's been really cool to listen to a podcast that either I've played the game and I'm really excited to hear you talk about it, or I haven't and don't plan on it, and so I'm interested to hear your thoughts, and maybe then I'll go play it. And so I think what you guys do is a really good format for getting people engaged in either games they've been thinking about playing or games they've yet to play. Up until this point, is there a game that you guys talked about that you were shocked you liked as much as you did?
Yeah,
good question.
I always go back to there's a game called Virginia, which is developed by Variable State, published by 505 Games. They have a new game coming out soon, and essentially it's like, what if Lego Duplo characters had an X-Files story? Ooh. And it's a game that is maybe like 2 hours long. It is not for everyone. I know that one of our past guests, who's a Twitch streamer, Blake, he just played Virginia like today, and he messaged me and he's like, hey, didn't really understand it. It's kind of weird. So I give you that like kind of warning to say that it is not a game for everyone, but it is one that like surprised the pants off me. I think that beyond that, I'd not played Undertale before we started the podcast, and Undertale is a game that you should just, if you haven't heard of it, if you haven't played it, just download it, go into it, play it once, and then start looking into it a little bit more, because the game just is, and I'm sure people have talked about it before, Toby Fox built this crazy thing that I want everyone to play, because it is so cool. We sat and it's our longest podcast ever. We sat and talked for 2 hours about it, and we probably could have talked for another hour, but Undertale and Virginia really surprised me. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I'll check out Virginia, because I love games that are like transcending their own medium. Ones that are like doing the weird thing. Like, I love how much, and not to talk too much about Undertale in case people don't who listen haven't. I'm sure we've gone into Undertale. Never mind. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Fuck it. Stop listening now. Come back in like 2 minutes. Just skip ahead. I love so much how I played Undertale first. Well, I guess I watched a watch through Undertale first, but it felt like I was playing it because I was engaging with the story, and that's how I play. Like, I just like, I want to be engrossed in the story, so it feels like I played watching someone else play, because I have dumb thumbs. And like, then I got to play like a Pokemon game and have this weird like backwards reaction to Undertale through watching Pokemon, because I was like, oh, Toby Fox was doing a weird Pokemon game where you don't catch the Pokemon and you don't hurt them. You just like let them fucking hang out. Like, that's it. Like, you just let them do that.
And the weirdest connection,
and that's crazy,
is that Toby Fox composed a song for the newest Pokemon game.
He did. Yeah.
So bringing it all full circle.
He and what's his name? He always does the Nintendo Directs, and he's so darling, and he's like so important to Nintendo. And
Masahiro Sakurai.
Yeah, Sakurai. Yeah, Sakurai. Like the moment when they put like Undertale music in Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, and how he talked about how Toby Fox came over and like played games with him, and I'm just like, I can't with this. This is amazing.
Toby Fox strikes me as like a wonderful human. Again, just from what I've seen and read and heard, I'm a wrestling fan, and I will not go into that. But Toby Fox did a
We can't. We'll be here forever
We
if
cannot.
we talk about wrestling.
He did a video package for Kenny Omega as a part of like New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh yes, where he came
And-
out dressed as Sans or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Well, no, beyond that, he came out and Toby Fox did a cutscene in Undertale style to share what Kenny was going through with the like New Japan Pro Wrestling company that he was actually having active struggles with.
Amazing.
And it's called Kenny's Quest, and if you're a wrestling fan, please just Google Kenny's Quest because it's fantastic.
I gotta start watching New Japan. I keep saying I gotta start watching New Japan. Every time I'm like, I just wanted to watch it. Now you said this, and now I'm like, oh, I have to.
Yeah, there's
like you've put that final nail in the coffin. I gotta.
There was an
happening.
old creator, and his name was Showbuckle, and he made this wonderful video about Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi because they told the first, I think, like really powerful gay story in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And it was told over like a 3-year period, and it's like New Japan thinks about storylines in the 1, 3, 5 years, and this was a story
Yeah.
told over 5 years.
That's amazing.
So
Wow.
yeah, the Golden Lovers.
That's incredible.
It's yeah. I won't go on and on about wrestling and about Toby Fox,
It's
but
okay.
we were
It's
talking
fine.
about Undertale, and I went there.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Thank you. Like,
That's awesome.
Listen, this is it's on my bullshit for sure. So we're back on mine personally. We're talking about weird video games
And
that
Japanese
defy
pro
video
wrestling.
games and Japanese pro wrestling. I'm there. I'm already there. I'm the whisper in the wind.
You are-
the shadow in your hair. I don't know.
Yes.
I forget the lyrics to that one. I'm already there. I do have a question.
Okay.
Yes.
Huzzah! I don't often have questions because I just this is when I get to listen to my own podcast and just be so delighted that I get to be here with a voice. I'm the podcast listener who gets to talk back. What's a game that you've encountered that you would love to bring to your show, but you know you couldn't? Like,
that's a good question.
if there's a game where you're just like, this one's just, I guess for me, like for any reason, maybe like the team won't get on it with you, or it's just one that's so like weird that like you're not sure how to talk about it with a group of people. Like, what's that one game that's like your podcast white whale?
Okay, so up until recently, our podcast white whale was Firewatch. None of us had played it.
Such a good game.
Yeah, it's a good game. I think that we went in with incredibly unrealistic expectations because we're all Idle Thumbs fans, and the game is great. The game does some things with dialogue that have not been done in a game before. But we played that one just recently, so I guess my answer would probably have to be, we keep lists, and all three of us have to agree to either play it or like play it for the podcast. If we say like, hey, it's important, I don't want to play it, you go ahead, find a guest, do the thing, all good. I have 4 games on that list that we haven't played, and they are Ghost Trick, which is a Capcom published game about a man who dies but then can move between inanimate objects as a ghost and like affect those objects. It's a puzzle game. Brutal Legend is on that list. Jack Black's Double Fine game from like 7 or 8 years ago. Advance Wars, because I just want to play Advance Wars again. And Paper Mario The 1,000-Year Door, because I have not played that game, and I'm really excited for the sequel that's coming soon. So I cheated because I gave you 4 games.
That's okay. I love getting more than I asked for.
Yeah.
Also, what was the first one called again?
Ghost Trick. It's
Trick.
available on iOS weirdly. So it was on DS, and then it kind of got forgotten about. Capcom published it, I think, in like the late aughts, early 10s, and then they just put it out on iOS. It is exorbitantly
Weird.
expensive on iOS. But it seems like a really cool game. It's from the creator of Phoenix Wright, those like anime
Yeah.
lawyer
Cool.
games. So
Yep.
if you like that, you might like this. That's
love
probably
Phoenix
my
Wright.
that's probably my number 1 game I want to play on the podcast, and I just can't convince the guys to play. So
iOS games.
I just want to shout out the rain that is pouring right now because I record near a window. So if you hear a little trickle tap tap, that's the pouring rain that I can't control.
And I once again want to shout out my cat.
Yes, who's been squeaking the whole time. You were trying to make a point.
Squeaky mouse toy.
You were trying to make a point before, and I kept like scrunching my face up because I didn't want to laugh because I kept just hearing the squeak.
Okay. Hey, this is podcasting. We're
serious.
humans, and that's the fucking appeal of this. Are you kidding me? We're not polished. We're not special. I mean, I'm great and you're great and we're all great, but like we're not special in like that idea of like we're going to spend millions of dollars on this. This is people being people, and I happen to be a people as a cat who cannot stop fucking playing with a squeaky mouse toy. And I'm not even mad about it. I love it so much.
My next question.
Anyway.
My next question.
That's all. I take a drink. I dissected podcasting again on a podcast. Self-referential all the time.
My next question for you, Jacob, actually is shifting gears a little bit. You have a YouTube channel. You recently released 2 different YouTube videos that are phenomenal. I suggest everybody go look up Jacob McCourt on YouTube. We'll put a link in the show notes. But my question is, you've had your channel since 2006. You've had it for a while, like most of us.
Yeah.
You made one because you could make one, like I did. I have one with like 20 subscribers that I don't post anything on anymore because a lot of us, we make one to have one. And you had other videos. You've released stuff consistently to inconsistently over the years. But these 2 new videos are very polished, very, here's video game content on YouTube. What made you decide to lean into that and start working on that stuff? Because like we talked earlier, there's no shortage of folks talking about games on podcasts. Same thing on YouTube. There are a lot of folks dissecting and talking about stuff. So what made you decide to return to that?
Yeah, so I made really bad content in the mid to late 2000s, as some others have.
Yes.
Like it's not great. Fully admit that. Some of it really gets like a lot of views still. But I kind of went back to YouTube because, I love what we do in the Left Behind Game Club. It's the first project that I've had that I've sticked with very consistently and that lasted 3 years with no signs of stopping. But I think there was maybe an itch that I wasn't able to scratch with that in going back and researching and learning about creators and sharing their stories. I think that there's a huge amount of content out there on YouTube that you can look into, but I have this like insatiable hunger to just like learn about a very specific thing. And, we're in quarantine, so I figured now would be the time to create an output with that and kind of flex the video muscle. So it was like I had a little more time. I wanted to get back into video again, and I was already doing all this dumb like research and learning about things like who goes back 10 years later or 15 years later to learn about what the Xbox 360 did to launch. It's me. I'm that guy. So that's kind of why the YouTube channel started again, and I think I'm gonna keep going with it. Video's a medium that like I kind of am trained in like radio. So going back to video is fun for me. Like I even participated in like a short film competition over the weekend. I was part of a team. I'm not a camera person, but it's been fun to get back into video.
That's awesome. Yeah, and like
I love that. That's so great.
That leads to my next.
Also, I would love to learn about the history of like the Xbox. Like that sounds like a primer for me, the uninitiated. So,
now
like,
you can.
There's absolutely a market for that, because I would love to understand more like the ancestry of gaming, in a way that is not so like mired in like having to be like clickbaity and algorithmically like like I gotta talk about what's hot. Like I love podcasts like Lore and Sawbones that just sort of like, because like you gotta get your history, you gotta get your fundamentals if you really want to get what's going on. And I'm again, like, to bring it back to like, I'm a musical learner and I love engaging with videos because they're the best way for me to like really lock into something and understand it.
Yeah, so I think my brother's part of that inspiration too, because he is someone that kind of fell out of love with games, and then in the last like 3 years has fallen back in love with games. And he, follows a lot of game like YouTube essayists, and he one day was like, why aren't you doing this? Like, you talk my ear off about random BS that happened in the games industry 10 years ago. Why don't you just put all of that in a script and do it? So that's kind of the genesis of that. And like you said, it's YouTube's a bit of a game. It's a strange place, especially I'm in my day job is kind of a marketing person, so YouTube's a strange beast. I will leave it there. I could talk your ear off about YouTube's algorithm and how they favor certain creators versus others and certain topics versus others, but I won't go there because that's a whole other podcast that I'm probably not even. Whole nother life. Whole nother life.
One other thing I wanted to ask, though, because you kind of hinted on it before, and so did Rachel, is so your current 2 new videos from this new push for doing videos. The first one is games you've never heard of that you should play, and then the second one was the history of the Xbox 360 launch and why it was different from other consoles, why it was different for other Xboxes, and why it was different from other consoles. These are fairly specific topics. And so my question is, when coming up with a topic idea, do you have like a list of stuff you want to bang out? Do you just kind of wait till something inspires you? Is it a little bit of both? Like, how do you come to these ideas that you craft and turn into videos?
It's a little of both. So, with the podcast, with Left Behind Game Club, we play games that are, 3, 5, 10 years old. And sometimes, you look at the inspiration, when you're researching to get ready for the podcast, you look at the inspirations or the games in the same genre. So I keep a spreadsheet of topics that I may want to get into, like Advance Wars. I've already talked about Advance Wars, but I would love to do a retrospective on the series, right? So there's an idea. I keep a spreadsheet. With content, I'm not going to stick myself to you will release a video every 2 weeks on this day, because I'd rather spend a month on a video and put out something that's well researched and scripted. And honestly, I'm still figuring it out in this style. So the answer is like I get inspiration from a little everywhere. Okay. And I given that I have the, I hate to I have an MBA, but like with the MBA, you learn like research and, my specialization or kind of my career is in marketing. So I think a lot of the videos are either going to be about strictly like, hey, here's a game, here's a retrospective, or here's my lens on like a launch of a console, which I probably didn't lean in hard enough on like, hey, this is why this launch was different from a business perspective, but maybe we will in the future.
Right. I
don't know. We're still figuring it out, but I appreciate everyone who's watched so far, how you're highlighting the content. It's been a fun journey, and I'm working on the 3rd video now, and the sky's the limit, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And just to like, 'cause you're talking about like learning as you go, I think one of the most valuable things about creating something for any medium is to just like do it and then fail in whatever way that word means fail to you. Like, maybe I missed the mark this time, and like come back and like learn from it and move. And like it's really great to hear you say, I did this thing. Now that I've done it and I've just like ripped that Band-Aid off, we'll go and we'll do this now. Like every video is a stepping stone to like what you want to do, and that you're taking time with it and you're growing from it, and not just going like, I'm gonna max out this algorithm, like this crazy algorithm, and just like figure out how to like get the most like cultural cash,
Yeah.
I think that's a really important way to approach this as a creative, because to go back to sort of like a discussion we were having with, I believe it was Nate, about like creating and sort of like this idea of like this cult of busyness, where it's like, I have to be releasing every 2 weeks or else I'm not on my grind. And it sounds like you're on your grind in your own time, and that's the best grind to be on.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting because I squashed the creative side of me for a long time. So like went to business school. Business school comes with its own set of politics and its own set of like, grind. So I kind of let the creative in me die for a long time. So it's nice in the past like 3 or 4 years to like get back into podcasting, get back into creating, and like I always go back to like the Ira Glass thing of like, you're going to make things and they're going to be really, really bad, but you make the good things by making the bad things. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially it. So I'm going to make a lot of bad things, and every time I'm going to figure it out and it'll be a little bit better. I know for me, like figuring out getting on camera is the next thing that I'm going to have to do to make this YouTube channel like, you know, a more polished thing. So that'll be the next step is me. I don't have any problem getting in front of the camera, but for some reason with these YouTube videos, I haven't quite gotten there yet. So it's a journey, right?
Yeah, to quote one of my favorite modern day philosophers, Jake the dog, being bad at something is the first step to being sort of good at something.
It's true. Yeah. And I mean, we've told the story on this podcast several times. Like, this podcast had to fail horribly for it to exist, even. Like, Rachel and I recorded a phantom episode that will probably still never air, though we refer to it.
I don't think it's ever gonna.
I don't think it's even
like,
complete.
At this point, we gotta stop teasing it, because frankly, I don't remember anything about it or what I said, and I'm sure I sucked back then, and
I'm sure we all did.
I don't even want to open that time capsule and just like, that's fine, like I don't care.
But what's important?
We'll get that guest again.
We will.
And we'll have a rechat.
Because,
or we won't. I don't know.
I mean, he's a lovely human. Shout out to Eric Ford.
Very lovely.
But that said, Rachel and I recorded that episode. It never got edited. It sat on the cutting room floor, so to speak. And then, like, Rachel and I even lost touch for a long time. And then when we reconnected, Rachel instigated and said, "Hey, do you still want to do that thing? Like, I still really want to do it." Yeah. And like, I don't know that we would have had the impetus to try if we hadn't tried and failed, because it was that power.
Yeah.
It was the power of not just our friendship, but also the power of
my little friendship, my little podcast.
But it was also the power of not succeeding, acknowledging that it was lost, and like, but we really still want to try. And I think that
there's always a kernel of something good in like the something bad.
Absolutely.
Unless you're a Nazi, and then there's nothing good in what you're doing.
Nothing at all. Not a
at
single
all.
thing.
Nothing you're doing is good.
Yeah.
And the only
Please
good
stop.
thing that you're going to do
Please
is
stop.
stop.
Yeah.
Just stop doing that. The thing that you're doing.
It's very
nothing
easy.
You're doing
Yeah.
is
Please
good.
stop.
It's
Just
so
stop.
easy. Just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop. Just like.
Yeah.
Lie in your
If
bed
you're a
and read some
brand
manga.
and you can't say please stop,
Yeah.
easy,
Yeah.
done.
Done.
There you go. Done.
Not
we fixed
science.
it. Nailed it. Fixed the whole world. Once again, it's a podcast fixing the whole world. Oh no.
Jacob, we have to wrap up, and we're going to ask you a final question. But before we do any of that, why don't you tell folks where they can find you on the internet, where they can find your show, your YouTube, all that stuff. Pitch away.
Yeah, so you can find me on the internet basically everywhere at Jacob McCourt, JACOB MCCOURT, the Irish coming out in the name and the red beard on this video call. I have a YouTube channel. I'll be making videos there, youtube.com/Jacob McCourt. My podcast, The Left Behind Game Club, you can find on all major podcasting platforms. We release every 2 weeks, and like I said, it's a book club for video games. Come in, find a show you like, listen to it. You can start anywhere, except maybe our first episode, because I don't love those first episodes, but that's beyond the point.
It's okay. The kernel of good is there.
Yeah.
It's good. The kernel of good is there.
A good
and,
place.
I would say watch my feeds.
I was going to say a good place to start might be the Last of Us episode. I think that one's pretty great.
Oh,
because there's a certain someone who's on that episode
show.
who did a fantastic job with Mike and I. Am I doing a good job? I'll pay you $5 later.
Thank you.
And I guess I would say just watch my feeds, because I'm working on something new that will be coming out this year.
Awesome.
It'll be fun. It may or may not be another audio podcast. I'm going to be like Matt and have 1,000 audio podcasts now, but
why not?
It'll be fun. And so watch my feeds, twitter.com/Jacob McCourt. Thank you for having me on today. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you so much.
Rachel, shall we go?
What a delightful conversation.
Super delightful.
Let's continue this gratitude sesh.
Yes.
And say thank you to John Presnell for the use of the song Aurora off the album Fair Game featuring Stefan Remble.
Also, thank you to the incredible Katie Bug. The incredible.
Incredible.
To the incredible Katie Bug, who designed our incredible show logo, show art. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'm not cutting that
Nope,
whole
you're not.
incravable. It was perfect.
I hate me.
I'm not even mad about it. Why? You're great. I think you're awesome. You know what else I think is awesome?
Who?
The Certain Point of View Podcast Network. For once again allowing us to go yet another week without dismissing us in shame, without excommunicating us from the network for whatever bullshit this is. There's a lot of really great new shows on the network. Please, keep in touch with us over the Discord. Follow us on the Sochmeads.
Yep.
I hate myself for saying Sochmeads.
Yo,
okay.
Sochmeads.
Sochmeads.
The Sochmeads.
Yeah, you can find us at certainpov.com.
Sochmeads Skywalker. It's fine. That's what
it.
it sounded like in my head.
God damn it.
I
You can
don't like sand.
You can find us at certainpov.com. You can find a permanent invite link to our Discord server. You can find all of our podcasts there.
Yeah.
Like Rachel said,
Do
we have
those
a
things.
ton of new shows,
So
including
many.
the Rob Thomas. No,
there's-
not that one. Robcast.
I was about to say that one. The one all about the shows that Rob Thomas, but not the musician Rob Thomas, made.
Correct.
Great fun.
Yes.
Veronica Mars. Woo, boy.
And they recently did an
show.
episode about the movie Drive Me Crazy, which we watched as a group in the Discord, and it was nonsense, and it was amazing. So yeah, go check.
I didn't watch it because I forgot to check the Discord. I'm so bad at the
fine.
Discord. Everyone just tweet at me and remind me to get on the Discord.
Do it.
If you're
Everyone
listening to
listening
this, just
right now.
Just be like, Rachel, get on the Discord. And I will say, I have so many Discord servers. I'm sorry. I've got so many of them. I'll show you a screenshot of all the Discords.
Please
I'm a part
post
of.
it on the
It's
Screen Snark Twitter.
overwhelming.
Just do it.
I will. It's like, look at all these servers.
But
I'm
now-
a fucking asshole.
But now, before we finalize this show, have another one in the books, we do have to ask Jacob one final question. And as always, it is my
Yes.
incredible co-host job. Ask Jacob that last question.
Okay, I will try and not be verbose about this because usually I just wax philosophical about the nature of a trope. But we all get a trope, Matt and I are on this goddamn podcast all the time. We fucking know. You've listened to the show. You know the question. So, Jacob, if you could choose one storytelling trope often featured in movies and TV. I was verbose about not being verbose. I hate me so fucking
It's okay.
much.
I love you.
Ugh, I have to go lie down. If you could choose one trope to instantly and magically be true in your life, what trope would you choose?
I guess I would want Simple Minds to play me out whenever I did something good.
Amazing.
And maybe I think of always Breakfast Club and kind
Yeah.
of throwing my arm up in the air. So
Yes.
if I do a good thing, I want na 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 na. That's what I want. So
Amazing.
please,
Yeah,
Simple Minds,
nice.
if you're out there and you're listening to this podcast at Jacob McCourt, just you probably won't do it, but a boy can wish.
Amazing.
Hey, listen, you can always just attach a small speaker to yourself and just have that shit on the ready.
There you go.
I
Just
could.
press a button at the push of a button. That's excellent.
I could
love
tie it
that.
to
That one,
I could tie it to my very bad trench coat, and we can go from there.
exactly. This is literally the first actionable trope that we've encountered on
Correct.
this show.
Wow.
This one you could literally do.
Yeah.
Not all of them are as simple as this. Some of them are I want to go across the globe and make it real fast. And it's well, we won't get the red lines.
Oh, that's a good one.
The red travel lines of where you go. And it's so fast travel.
I
but
think I was
pretty.
thinking too small, and now I regret it. Oh,
No,
dang.
it's
That was a
okay.
great answer. You did a
but
great job.
listen, you thought accurate and what was the other word?
I'm not telling you now. If you
Valid and valid. You thought accurate and valid,
Yes.
and that.
Our goals, and sorry to sound like a business school, but they have to be smart. They have to be actionable, measurable,
There
blah,
you
blah,
go.
blah.
Blah,
I
blah,
won't
blah.
go into it.
Well-
There you go.
Well, Jacob, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you, Jacob.
I loved being on your show. Please have my co-host on your show at some point. She's amazing. I'm gonna pitch for you every time.
I like games. They're good. They're fun.
But seriously, keep doing what you're doing on YouTube. I watch a lot of gaming YouTube, but you do a really great job, and I want to see it grow. But thank you for your time today. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Also, thank you to you, my co-host, my beautiful, stunning, incredible, and brilliant co-host, Rachel Quirky Shank.
Oh, you stop it. And thank you to my kind and magnanimous and well-dressed co-host, Matt, aka Stormageddon. I'm loving your look today.
Thank you.
This Lex hat's killing it for me.
Rocking the
Very
Lex
good
hat.
work.
Shout out to Lex, the Lexicon
Yeah.
artist, for absolutely no reason, other than she's amazing.
Yeah, come on our podcast.
I mean, I can make that happen. I'll work on it.
Good. Please do.
I will.
I'd love it.
But yes.
Let's get out of
Yes,
here. 'Cause
please.
I'm dying.
Finally,
It's very warm.
thank you to all of our incredible listeners. We love having you.
Thank you, listeners.
Like, subscribe,
We do.
rate, recommend, all that stuff. And until next time,
Throw this into the mouth of your local goblin.
there you go.
Let them enjoy
Let
it.
them enjoy it.
By eating it. I don't know. It's mythology. Is that how this works?
And
We have to go.
we do have to go. So as always, we'll see you at the movies or on a couch somewhere. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Metal to magnet, she will be mine. Aurora.
It all started with a mouse, and in the last 100 years, the magic of Disney has filled our homes and hearts and defined generations. Join the Dole Up in Dreams podcast as they take a deep dive into the Disney vault and examine the history, artistry, controversy, and even drama behind your favorite Disney films with host Maddie Limerick. With guests ranging from Imagineers, Broadway stars, voice actors, and even your favorite certain POV hosts. You'll want to tune in each episode to see what magic they'll dig up next. Find out more at certainpov.com and wherever you find podcasts.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.